Wilder Show podcast. I'm Scott, and that's Lauren.
It is.
Hello there, Lauren.
Hello.
Instagram, find us on Instagram, search Wilder Show Pod, and then you'll like it, and we appreciate that. If you want to send us email podcast@wildershow.com. The Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, on the TikTok every now and then, wherever you get your podcasts. Even right now, would you like us? You like us. You really like us. That is a Sally Field reference.
You know, it's Oscar season,
you know?
and I know you're right in the middle of your thing here. But I just heard somebody bring that up the other day.
You like me.
You like me.
You really like me. It's not sweet. It was a good moment.
Oh, she took so much heat for that, though, and continues to.
I know, but I still think it was great.
Yeah.
Disagree with her on a bunch of other stuff.
I know.
Like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share. There you go. Now we can begin. Point of personal privilege. Not to put you on the spot.
Me?
Yes.
Okay.
But do you remember where you were on this day 33 years ago, right now?
On 33 years. On this day, was it 33 is it hockey
years ago.
Related?
No, it is not.
Wait.
33 years ago.
Oh, I gotta do math.
What were you doing? Where were you working?
On this date, 33 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you.
Well, let me think about it for a second. I do remember.
Do you really? For real?
I think I do.
Go ahead, guess.
Well, I don't.
You can guess. You can guess. It's okay. You can guess. We're keeping it rolling.
Okay.
Just guess.
I'm remembering you having found out that your dad was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I was just thinking about that. It was yesterday. It was the 19th in 1993.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I were in a studio. I was filling in the mornings.
Yeah.
And I just want to say thanks because you were there and I was a big mess and a big puddle. And you allowed me to
tough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You allowed me to sit in the corner with my head in my hands, and you ran the whole thing.
Mm.
Nobody knew. And then you would say, okay, get up. You got to do a break.
Yeah.
And I would get up and I would do my thing, and I'd go back and I would just melt into a chair. And, of course, my dad passed away like a month and a couple of days later. A month and 3 days later. So anyway, isn't that weird how time goes by? So, and here we are 33 years later. We're still in a studio, stuck in a studio.
I'm still telling you what to do.
Yeah. You're still stuck.
Not very successfully. She said as she looks at the audience.
Well, in both cases, some things don't change. All right, let's talk Olympics. I got to talk a little Olympic talk. We have to do a Guthrie update, and it's actually something new that I think you'll find it really interesting. We have Olympics talk, little Mamdani talk, little immigration talk, a lot of Guthrie talk later, then scattershoot, of course. Olympic talk. Mm-hmm. When I say Cortina, what do you think of? What is skiing in Cortina? What is that?
Wait,
do you think of something?
What is skiing in Cortina?
When I say they went skiing in Cortina, what do you think of?
I don't know.
You think of Freddie Miles and Marge Sherwood and Dickie Greenleaf and the rest of the gang.
Not have remembered
and the rest of the gang. They got to go skiing at Christmas time in Cortina, and Tom Ripley was uninvited.
Okay,
that was the ski trip to Cortina.
Mm-hmm.
From there you go. So it's just a little memory.
I would not have remembered that.
Isn't that fun?
Mm-hmm.
My Olympics observation, also, I have looked into them, the different events, and I've wondered, which of these I could do. With with some.
You mean now?
With some training and practice, of course, right? And the way I started is by looking at the body shape and the frame of the guys, because I would be competing in a men's event.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the sports are not likely that, because of my age, that I could do, like snowboarding. Probably couldn't do snowboarding. I mean, competitively, couldn't.
Mm.
Here's what I've concluded based on my study. None of them. I couldn't curl. I couldn't, none of the things.
Yeah.
It's still fun to watch, though. Still fun to watch.
You could do plenty of that stuff for fun, I think, if you wanted to.
Yeah, I know.
You could ski if you wanted to ski.
Yeah, I've been one time.
Snowboard if you wanted to snowboard. You could skate. You could do a lot of those things for fun.
That's true. Anyway, so sadly, again, I have concluded I probably will not be competing in the next Olympics.
How much time did you spend on figuring that out?
Too much. I will watch events at the Olympics, really only because it's the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, stuff that I would never watch, the biathlon.
Yeah.
Okay? That's cross-country skiing and pellet gun.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll watch that. But why do we do that? We do it because of national pride. That's why we watch. That's why we watch sports we would never watch. Because some part of us remembers when the events took place, not that we saw it, but the events took place in Berlin, that we want to beat Germany. It shows that we're right.
Yeah.
We're better. 1980, the miracle hockey match, us winning showed that we were right. It was national pride. Mm-hmm. It was us versus them. And so when I watched our local ice skater, figure skater, Amber Glenn on Tuesday.
It was
I think Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
I did watch the whole, we talked last time about how the news would mess up by telling you the end result of Quad God. Mm-hmm. They tell you he failed, and then I watched the rest of the Olympics and see that it came true. I was watching the Olympics on Tuesday night, and I was watching in part to see how they would promo it. And would the local news people be promoting that she did great, or local girl does well, or whatever, brings home the whatever. Or it wouldn't be the gold because this was a short program. Anyway, so I was watching, and in part of the watching was the packages to get ready for her to be skating. Mm-hmm. So I was watching the package, and of course, before the package, we'd already heard the things about, they don't like too woke, B words, winning, that kind of stuff. He talks about being pansexual, whatever that is, and all her things, right? Mm-hmm. Being under fire because she's part of the LGBTQ, whatever, community. But a lot of branding. Yeah. The only real brand, in my view, at the Olympics should be your country. That's the brand. And watching her, before her performance on Tuesday night, during all the setup, getting her reaction to seeing that Madonna, really sends her all her love and positive energy and all this kind of stuff, or whatever. What was it?
Madonna had seen her skate to Like a Prayer and knew that she was going to do it again in the short program on Tuesday night, and apparently had provided this video, telling her,
endorsing her, or whatever.
I love it, love how you used it. You go, girl, sort of.
And so we had to get her reaction, and we got to talk to her about it. And I'm literally shaking, as I was watching Madonna. I mean, all that kind of stuff. Even participating in the actual filming of the setup piece, where she is narrating about herself getting ready. And then in the middle of her own narration, she looks up at the camera and then speaks into the camera and participates in that way. My point is, it was a whole lot of packaging. Mm-hmm. And it just seems to me that having seen what just happened on that same ice 4 days prior to the Quad God, it seems like it might have been better not to do those things. And I was nervous before she skated. Yeah. I thought, this is not good. Now, let me contrast that with somebody else we've talked about before.
Alyssa Liu,
exactly.
Who I've loved, never knew anything about her. I couldn't have told you that she was, a junior champion or a world champion when she was 14 years old, 15 years old, and then that she had stepped back and really retired, decided she was done. I didn't know any, and then came back recently. I didn't know any of that until I think March of 2025, somewhere around then, maybe during the summer when she won she was the world champion at the ISU Worlds in 2025. But before I say anything, and I still love her, love to watch her skate, love her attitude toward all of it. But the packaging and the thing that we saw with Amber Glenn right before she skated, I don't really love all of that either. But I do wonder how much of that is NBC, and would she have even been able to say, I don't want to do that. Well, I don't want to participate in that. I don't want that kind of, me thing right before I skate, because it did sort of seem like is a harbinger the right, a harbinger of doom.
It did.
Yes.
Well, let me say this. I would even sort of lean toward that, except for the part where she actually was speaking in the middle of her own narration of herself.
Yeah.
It wasn't a deal where they had pulled old interviews and they put it together. They gave, or she wrote, a narration.
Yeah.
She narrated something that then in the middle of it, she looked up and said, and now it's my time, or whatever. It was something like that.
Yeah.
And that's the part where she was playing into it. And the whole thing of building brands, that is part of the problem. This idea of building a brand. She's now 24?
26.
26. She will never participate in the Olympics again.
First and last.
That's
Olympics.
Right. She will never, and it all, I believe those things are a distraction. And if you have a chance to do something that you say you've always wanted to do, that you were inspired as a 6-year-old 20 years ago, you were inspired as you watched somebody skate and you thought someday I'd like to do that. If you finally have that opportunity, don't go there with all the baggage, all the things about you. If NBC wants to do a piece on you, great. Take my old stuff, but I don't want to. I'm not going to narrate something about me, but it's going to play before I go and do this thing that is so important to me. That is the only thing I want to think about. I don't want to think about anything else.
I appreciate all of that. I still don't know, though, how. I mean, first of all, I don't think she put that thing together and recorded it, 2 days before she skated. I think that was probably done quite a while ago. And I don't know how much control they have over things like that. And I felt, regardless of anything she said, any bad impressions she made, it was heartbreaking to watch her skate and know, like you said, the first time she made it to the Olympics, she's tried before. She's had a very bumpy road with a lot of different issues, and finally gets to this point. And really, they will have skated by the time this drops.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, the last one.
But by my understanding is
She's out.
she will not medal. There's no way mathematically. Too many other people would have to do terribly.
Yeah, they'll have to come back to her
for her to earn enough points to get to that point.
And obviously, she was very emotional, as you would be.
Yeah.
But so was the quad god.
Oh, I'm sure.
And what did she say about it? She said, I had it. Now, I know she meant she had it and she lost it.
Yeah.
Or she had it and she blew it. But that is exactly what the quad god said. He said, I blew it.
Yeah.
He owned it. You know what I mean? So we'll see. It's too bad for her. I just think it'd be better if people were more concerned about the flag that they are representing. Don't speak ill of the country when you're over there. You are taking the place of someone else. If you're embarrassed, just keep your mouth shut. Just don't say anything. If you're asked something, you say, look, I'm here to talk about skating, or I'm here to talk about skiing. That's what I'm here. I am proud to be representing my country. And if you have a question about skiing or skating, we can talk about it. But I just want you to know, I could not be more excited to be here representing the United States of America. That's what you say. Even if you don't mean it, that's what you say. Because that is the role you play. You're not just your own self there. You are representing your country. That's the whole point. And let me give you two real quick hits on a couple of things. Mamdani wants to increase the property tax in New York 9.5%. Remember we told you before that he's promising. Liberals do this. You promise everything, deliver nothing, then blame others. And he promised everything's going to be free, transportation going to be free, all this kind of stuff. People said, well, how are you going to do that? Well, we're going to raise taxes. People said, hey, but you can't do that. The governor has to approve that, and she's already said she's not going to do that. He comes out this week and says, well, we're going to have to increase property taxes, 9.5% increase in taxes, a 9.5% property tax increase in New York, and dip into the New York City emergency funds, the reserve funds, if he doesn't get his way on the wealth tax. You know what the property taxes are right now in New York City?
What?
20.8%. You're going to increase them 9.5%. So it will be more than 30% will be property taxes in New York. And you may say, well, we're going to soak the rich. It's all the people that own all those big buildings, apartment buildings. So, yeah, they're going to have to pay more.
That's crazy.
30%. And by the way, aren't these liberals the ones that tell us, hey, Trump's tariffs, I mean, don't you get it? The companies aren't going to pay for that. The end user is going to pay for that. The customers are going to have to pay for that. If you increase the cost of toys from China, don't you think Walmart is going to pass that on to some? Isn't that what they always tell us?
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't that be true then for the landlords? If the landlord's cost goes up by 9.5%, why wouldn't you think rent will go up?
And didn't Ren have something? Wasn't that one of his
like
campaign
a
promises to a
rent-free.
rent freeze?
Yeah, the guy's insane, and people who vote for this kind of thing are insane. It is all make-believe. And the only reason I care about what happens in New York City is because ultimately, once they have, if he does this, if he saps their backup funds, they're going to turn around to the federal government and say, who's going to bail us out? How can you not bail out America's basically center of the financial universe? How can you not bail us out? So that's the only reason I care about New York. Otherwise, I'd say, hey, you get what you deserve.
Mm.
You see where Switzerland is going to cap? Well, they want to cap their population at 10 million.
I did see that.
10 million.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a lot for a whole country, right?
No.
10 million.
Mm-mm.
And you wonder, well, why would they want to do that? We live in a world where people are talking about bringing more people into a country with declining birth rates, right?
Mm-hmm.
For a couple of reasons. I think statistics are showing that less premarital sex that can obviously result in pregnancies, but also families.
Smaller families.
Families being smaller or delaying even the, quote, creation of the family.
I think, when you delay that, it's probably going to be smaller too than when we used to start so much earlier and you had a lot of time.
So why would they want to limit the people to 10 million? And I don't know if this is the reasoning or not, but it could be. AI is going to take a lot of jobs. Mm-hmm. And when AI takes some jobs, if you limit your population, you sort of control the supply and demand when it comes to jobs. If you have a never-ending stream of illegals coming in and a never-ending stream of even legals coming in, those people are taking jobs from people who are native-born in Switzerland or in the United States or anywhere else. So I don't know if that's the reason why, but when you see the different things that we're reading about AI and jobs and the job market and who's going to do this, and I mean, I get notes all the time that I know are AI generated. I get texts saying tree trimming.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
That is not some guy named Joe who's sending me.
Who's somehow gotten your phone number off of a list and is tapping out text messages.
I mean, I walked into Elliot's Hardware, thingamabobs and whatchamacallits, and they geofenced it. And so somehow I'm now on some list that they probably sell. I'm not suggesting they do this, but anybody could do it.
Yeah.
My number is out there. And so I get texts saying, hey, you need some tree trimming help? That's not a person. It used to be a person or the roofing person or whatever. Those are all AI. That's all AI generated. So a lot of the jobs are being taken by AI. Those people then are out of work. They need to find other work.
Yeah.
And if you have unlimited people from other countries coming in and taking that, whether the people coming in are legal or they are illegal, those jobs are not available for the native born. So, well, I think it's a vote in June.
June is right.
Yeah. I don't know I don't know how that will resolve, but we'll watch that. The Guthrie case. Okay. I have several things to say about this. Who would have thought, really? What are we now? Day 20?
Yeah.
Something like that. Day 20. Savannah Guthrie's mother missing. Day 20. Day 20.
I was driving on I-35 north from Dallas to the Denton area. There's a billboard with Nancy Guthrie's face on it there.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Missing, reward.
God.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to, when somebody goes to jail, let's say they did two things. Let's say they burned a house down and then they did something else. You could be sentenced for concurrent terms, right? Or consecutive terms.
Right.
Consecutive means back to back. Concurrent means at the same time. The elements of the case, DNA, comparing it to CODIS, comparing it against the other DNA and those other cameras. That first stuff we got off the camera, we got off pretty quickly. We got that pretty quickly off that camera, didn't we? Now they're saying, well, they're going to work with Google again to see what they can get off the other cameras. It's like, wait a minute, what? Why was that not in process all this time? Why can't that be done concurrently? When you have a glove and you have DNA from the glove that they find 2 miles away, and when you have DNA from the house, you just have this DNA from the house and you compared it to the other people that you know, but it didn't match any of those people. And then you wait and you find a glove and you compare it to the DNA of the glove and it doesn't match the glove that you found 2 miles away. So we're going to run that DNA through CODIS. Why isn't that already done?
Do your questions, you think, have anything to do with a lack of professionalism in the way the case was handled early on by the local authorities?
Maybe, but I don't think so. I think there's so much pressure and so many other people with their fingers in the pie on this. There's something going on, and I don't know what it is, but I don't know why you would wait. Everything should have been in process immediately. We should not just now be saying, hey, we picked up the phone and called Google and said, you know what you did very quickly on that one camera? Could you do that on the other 5? Why wasn't that already in the works? So that's odd. Another thought. Police have said all along that Savannah and the other children and their spouses have been cleared, right?
Yes.
So the family and the spouses have been cleared.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably nitpicky, but they said children and spouses. Now, maybe it's parsing words, but I do remember it depends on the meaning of the word is. Since there were early reports that the sister's guy is not someone she's married to, but he has been referred to as her, Nancy's son-in-law, and has been referred to as Annie's husband. But early on, they said they're not married.
Right.
When they're not married, then he's not a spouse.
Not really a son-in-law or a spouse.
Not a spouse, right? Probably means nothing, but the words matter, and I thought that was interesting. Also, this. We talked about the backpack. The backpack was full. In fact, it was quite full. When I've traveled overseas, sometimes I'll take a suitcase, and in the suitcase, I have before put another suitcase.
For the stuff you're going to bring home.
Now, in that case, I wasn't stealing anything. But people that are robbing a house, I think, sometimes will take a backpack that looks like it's full, but it is full because there's another backpack inside to be able to haul away even more stuff. So I don't know if that's what the case is, but worth mentioning. As we talked about before, on the video that was released, there was no timestamp. We're getting to some news. There is some news out, but I got to lay this groundwork first. There was no timestamp on the only video that was been released. And I've never thought that video was actually from that night. The preparation, the guy had to not be seen. The gloves, the mask, the jacket covered his entire body or her entire body, but then seemed a little bit surprised about the placement of the camera, which I thought was weird. So we concluded that video was maybe from some other date. After we talked about that, you'll remember, there was that story that the police were requesting people to review their own home camera footage for the date of the attack, but also for one other date, January 11th from 9 to midnight.
Right.
So we deduced that maybe that video that everyone thinks is from the night of the 31st, the night of the attack, might actually have been a casing run and that the date might have been from the 11th. That's why they were asking for other videos from that date, looking for other video of maybe the same person casing out houses or casing houses, perhaps on January the 11th. Now, here is the news. A report out today, I'm going to quote it. Google Trends show an internet user in Arizona searching the home address weeks prior to her disappearance. Nancy Guthrie's home address searched by someone in Arizona weeks prior to her disappearance, by someone in Arizona in June of 2025 and again in January 2026. And guess what date they searched Nancy Guthrie's home address?
January 11th.
January 11th.
Oh, man.
How about that?
Isn't it? It's crazy that we can know so much in such great detail and still day 20 and they don't know where she is.
And other searches, by the way, from December are of images and a map of Nancy Guthrie's home and a search for Savannah Guthrie's salary. Now, they can't see who did those searches.
Yeah, sure.
The Google Trends will tell you, hey, somebody in Israel is searching so-and-so or whatever. And so that really does sort of bolster the idea. I mean, you could picture this. Somewhere last year, somebody is searching Savannah Guthrie's salary. And they're also searching for her mom's house.
Mm-hmm.
They find the information in December. And then on the day they're going to do it, they just want to make sure. And they search again to get the address. Maybe they didn't write it down. Maybe they just want to find out generally where it was. And on January the 11th, they were going to go and case the joint on that day. So I just think I was shocked.
Yeah.
Because you know that I was pretty upset that first tape has no timestamp and there's no way it was on that night for the reasons we talked about. And that maybe that was him casing the joint maybe on January the 11th. And now we find out that someone in Arizona searched for Nancy Guthrie's home address on January 11th.
You know, too, when you search, I don't know how often you do this or if you've ever had an opportunity to do this at all. If you search an address, depending on the last time that house was on the market, you can learn a lot about a house.
Right.
You can see things inside the house. I mean, floor plans. You can see on a Google
Where's a master
Earth
bedroom
search or a Google. I mean, you can see the houses. How far away is the house next door? There's a lot you can learn from something like that.
So we will give the obligatory now for the 5th or 6th time. By the time you hear this will possibly have been resolved. I don't think so. But what we talked about the other day, news stations are sort of scrambling about what to do. If there is nothing new, I mean new, like this is new, this should be on the news.
Right.
But there's not that. They're struggling to see how they're going to handle it. I don't know. Oh, it is time for Scatter Shoot.
Let's go.
Wilder Show Scatter Shoot. All right. If you haven't liked yet, do, would you? Like, rate, follow, subscribe, share. You do it right now. Even here during this Scatter Shoot music.
We love Pittsburgh.
Love Pittsburgh.
So many good things about Pittsburgh.
Yinzers.
A local Pittsburgh girl has broken a record,
Really?
shattered a record.
What?
Not just any little girl, a Girl Scout. 6-year-old Pim Neal has shattered the national sales record by selling more than 75,000 boxes of cookies.
What?
75,000 boxes of cookies. I think
grief.
There are all kinds of different ways to measure how many cookies how many boxes of cookies a Girl Scout has sold. There are 1-year records, and then there are career records, where somebody sold Girl Scout cookies for, 8, 9, 12 years. But this is a 1-year record. Previously, the record had been 32,000 boxes of cookies sold in one Girl Scout cookie selling season.
That's funny.
But Pim Neal, 6-year-old Pim Neal, when she was 3 years old, her dad said that she saw little girls outside of a grocery store selling cookies, and she said, I want to do that.
Aww.
So they got her involved in it as quickly as they could. And thanks to some action on TikTok, but also a lot of door-to-door selling too. They had sold 20,000 boxes of cookies in one day.
That's unbelievable.
That helped them get to that more than 75,000 boxes of cookies. It's a big, to commemorate this, I brought out my patches from when I was a greater Minneapolis Girl Scout cookies super seller. Not once, but twice, 1975 and 1976. I think I sold like 150 boxes of cookies. My career selling was probably 300 boxes of cookies.
That's okay.
Maybe 400.
That's great.
But this is crazy. What a record to break. That's amazing. Congratulations, Pim Neal and the Girl Scouts.
She's 6.
She is 6 years old.
Wow. Can I make a prediction?
Yeah.
I predict that in elementary school, she will have a great science project.
You think so? I know what you're implying. That
That's
she might have
okay.
had some help.
Well, she did have
from.
help.
Of course she had help.
I don't
but
care.
in 1975, 1976, my dad took the sheet to the office.
Yeah.
Back when you could still do that. I think some places still let you do that. I know that in some places you and I worked in the early aughts. Maybe the kibosh was put on that a little bit.
Don't bring those. Don't make other
every
people.
week somebody would be
I liked
selling
it,
wrapping paper or something
I
like
liked
that.
it, though.
It got hard to say no.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't.
Like I bought your stuff. You don't buy my stuff.
Yeah, or
sort of
you might,
thing.
I might really want the chocolate bars, but the wrapping paper,
Not as
I'm good.
much,
I got
yeah.
enough wrapping paper,
Right.
and then it just kind of looks like you're picking favorites. But back in the day,
Or if you're the boss,
yeah,
everybody feeling they have to do it.
exactly.
You know what I mean? Not just even
Yeah.
peers. But
Yeah.
the way they fixed that though, they did away with offices.
That is one way we've
Nobody.
That's exactly right.
Nobody.
Yeah, and I can tell you, my dad helped me sell Girl Scout cookies. He helped me not at all on science projects. though.
Yeah,
that's
true.
just that wasn't his
Well,
thing.
in either case, Pim Neal, that's great.
Congratulations. Do you know who David Green is?
I knew a David Green from growing up, but I assume that's not who you
It's
mean.
probably not that David
Yeah.
Green. There is another David Green that a lot of people are familiar with. and
Radio
he
guy.
is the other David Green is the founder of Hobby Lobby. So that might be
Oh,
the
that one
first
too. I didn't think about that one.
name,
Sure.
the first David
Mhm.
Green that jumps
Yeah.
into people's minds. But there is a David Green who was the host of Morning Edition on NPR
that's him.
for many years, I think until 2024. He has a very recognizable voice. He still does radio and podcasts. He's the host of a few podcasts. And back in 2024, he started to have some people mentioned to him that they had heard him on another project.
Oh, that's cool.
They'd heard him on different, podcasts and things here and there. Well, it wasn't really cool because he hadn't done any of those things.
What do you mean?
Well, it wasn't really his voice. I mean, he hadn't been hired to do those things. He was not being compensated for any of those things. And he thought, well, if this many people have been telling me about this, I should probably check it out. So are you familiar with Notebook LM?
Notebook LM, that's as an app?
It's a
an app?
Google product.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a research and note-taking online
Okay.
tool. It uses AI, of course, specifically Google Gemini, and it helps people who use it interact with their documents. One of the things that it could do is if you had a concept that you needed to learn about, you could tell it what you needed to learn about, and then it would create a podcast for you, 2 voices,
Oh, that's weird.
male and female voice, and it would teach you about that thing. Maybe say, hey, Google, I need to learn about the Roman Empire. Can you create a podcast that would be hosted by a man and a woman? And
They're talking to each other about that
They're talking
topic.
to each other, and
like, that's
they
weird.
sound like the two of us talking
Like
to
real
each other.
people.
Yes, like with a lot of wows, how interesting.
Really?
But did you know that? Because some people feel like they can learn better from that sort of auditory
crazy.
experience
Yeah.
than maybe reading about it.
sure.
Or plus, I think I love podcasts. I love our podcast. I love a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
But it's something that you can do while you're doing other
That's
things
right.
too. You might miss some things. You might not hear everything, but it's something you can do and sort of multitask. Anyway, it was Notebook LM specifically where people had heard what they thought was David Green's
So
voice.
they had heard him, they thought him, and they told him, hey, you sound good on whatever.
Yeah.
And he said, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And finally enough people said something and he went and
He
checked
checked
it out.
and it did sound
No way.
shockingly like him.
No way.
He thought so.
Yeah.
And there had never been, he'd not contracted with Google or with anyone in an effort to set this up to get his voice sampled or anything like that. And he's now he's suing them. And Google says the allegation is baseless. They say the male voice on Notebook LM is not based on David Green. They say they hired a professional actor and built it around him.
Interesting. You mean around the professional actor?
Around the
Yeah.
professional actor, that it has nothing to do with David Green or his voice. It seems like that would be pretty easy to prove, right? You just
bring the non-David Green guy in, put him on the stand, and okay, we based
this
it
is
on
what
him.
we based it on, yeah.
Some guys sound alike.
Uh-huh.
In the olden times, people would say everybody on the radio sounds the same. Everybody sounds the same.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Mhm.
So it's like, how do you know it's really... Now, I've listened to it, and it does sound like David Green.
I think it does too.
I mean, it really sounds like David Green.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what I heard him say is something like, and I don't know how they would do this, but he was saying something like, it's not just the way the voice sounds,
Right.
But it was the other things, the things that are the.
He said,
and they do this thing on NPR. If you scan across the dial, not that you scan anymore, if you're tapping across the dial in a town you've never been in before, and NPR has somebody on there talking, you can know in seconds that it is NPR. They have a way of saying things that sound really thoughtful, and they do that a lot.
Yeah.
It's very almost frustratingly
predictable
and deliberative. It's very deliberative. It's like if I say something slow enough and put some pause in, it is more likely you're going to think that I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it's very irritating.
Well,
to me.
he said those kinds of things that you're talking about, I think those were the things that he heard even in the AI-generated voice. He said it was the little phrases and little ways that he would emphasize words in a sentence, the way he would put a sentence together or put a question together. He said it just felt really creepy, that it wasn't just the sound of the voice, it was the cadence. It was kind of the way I think of it, sort of the structure of it almost.
So the soul of the communication.
Yeah.
I mean, we say things, but we say things when people, if you're a good communicator, and I'm not suggesting, I hope we are, but if you're a good communicator, you're not just hearing the meaning of the words, you're getting a feeling from what's being shared. It's almost like I always said about photography. A snapshot shows you what was visual.
Yeah.
But a photograph makes you feel something. You feel like you were there, or it looks like you're looking at a memory. That is a great photograph. So in the same way, people have the way they do things.
Yeah.
It's just the way people put things together. There was a day when I think we had this conversation a long time ago, and it had not to do with AI because nobody knew what AI was at the time. I think I talked about it in terms of phonics. There were 44 phonic sounds in the English language.
Okay.
Every single word is made up of some combination of 44 different sounds. And I remember saying to you, if we could just get somebody like Ernie Anderson in a room, and if we could just get those 44 elements, you could pay him $10 million. Ernie Anderson was the Love Boat guy, the great voice guy, or anybody else that was a great voice guy. But pay him a ton of money, but then own his voice and then piece it together. I think I remember he was saying to you, almost like cut and paste, like you could type it out and those phonics would come together and you could have him then narrate anything you want.
Yeah.
You would own his voice, and you pay him 10 mil and it's a lot of money. You can make a lot more than that and use his voice forever.
Yeah, sure.
Beyond his life.
Where he first got that idea probably was the Stepford Wives.
Probably
Isn't that where we all first saw that horrifying thing? The wife sitting up in her bedroom reading into a tape recorder like we had with a little microphone plugged into the side, reading all of the words that her husband had asked her to read into the tape recorder. She had no idea why he needed it.
And here we are.
Here we
are today with that real ability to steal someone's voice. But David Green is arguing, you didn't just steal my voice, you stole my soul. And so I'm suing.
Yep. By our next podcast, the 2026 Winter Olympics will be history.
At the end of the fortnight.
The end of the fortnight. That's right. So I'm sure we'll have other things to talk about too, just a little bit of afterglow.
Sure.
But one story, there's never a party that I wouldn't be happy to have a dog crash. I'm always happier, if there's a dog at the party. I don't know if they felt like that, though, during the women's team sprint free qualification. Last week, a local dog made a bid for Olympic glory.
Is that the one that he was running down the course?
Just running down the course right near the end. 2-year-old Czechoslovakian wolf dog. His name is Nazgul. They very friendly. I mean, some of the skiers were a little bit nervous about. I mean, you don't know if a dog is going to come at you and bite. And this is a big dog. I mean, any dog that's called a wolf dog. I mean, my first thought would probably be too, is it safe? Is he friendly? And he was like the sweetest little thing. But one of the skiers said her first thought was, am I hallucinating? Never seen a dog before on the home stretch. And she too said, she wasn't really sure what to do because she wasn't sure what if he attacked or tried to bite her. Unfortunately, race organizers did not make Nazgul available for questions after his capture. But his owners are related to an event official. So they were there at the event.
Funny.
And I don't really understand how Nazgul got out of the home where they were staying. There's not really a lot, but I mean, not only did he get out of the home where he was staying, but he found the area where his owners were through the gates or what. I mean,
so it's not that he came in with his owners and then got away from his owners once there. I'm wondering if it made the skiers ski faster. If you have a dog chasing you, it seems like you might really turn it
faster.
on. Yeah, turn it up.
If I didn't know whether he was friendly or not. Yeah. Actually, the skier that I was telling you about, who said she wasn't really sure she was there on the home stretch and she wasn't really sure how to react. She says that her initial reaction didn't actually make her ski faster. She thinks it might have cost her some seconds.
There you go.
So it didn't really bother her that much, though. She said, I'm not really fighting for medals or anything big like that. But she said if it happened in the finals, it could have really cost someone the medals or a really good result.
Yeah.
So Nazgul, by his owners called stubborn, but very sweet and resourceful too, I guess.
It's a good thing that Nazgul did not do that on the biathlete course because they have guns.
Yeah.
That is Scatter Shoot and the Wilder Show podcast. One thing I didn't mention, I a week ago, I think, said, or maybe last time said, we're going to be involved in some military activity with Iran in the next week to 10 days. I think the 10 days expires on Tuesday in my prediction. It wouldn't surprise me if it happens this weekend. It wouldn't surprise me if it happens next weekend. But really, in the next week or so, we are going to be engaged, and we're going to have that conversation. Just didn't have time to have it today. Instagram, find us there. Search Wilder Show Pod, and you can like and rate and all that. If you want to send us email to podcast@wildershow.com. The Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, also on the TikTok now and again. Got several comments about Robert Duvall. Somebody said they just recently went back and watched all of Lonesome Dove.
I think I might need to do that too.
I have that. You can watch it here.
Oh, really?
It's on my thing.
You know how I had that on VHS tapes.
I know. That is what did we all. So wherever you get to podcasts, would you like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share? You can do it right now. I know you've done it before. We appreciate that. Just if you like and comment, the engagement sends it out to more people. And just by doing that, you are sharing unknowingly, unwittingly, you are sharing the Wilder Show podcast. So thanks for doing that. Wherever you get your podcast, just make sure you like it and all that. And Lauren, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time. da 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 da.